All right, Cyber Traders, good afternoon and welcome on back to close out our week, putting a bow on this week, this Friday, November 4th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Mario actually joining back with us right now. Great to see those of us still with us here, like Jason and Michael, a few of us just joining us back right now as well, like Mark and Andre. Alex and Karen. Perfect. All right. So great to see all of us still sticking with us here inside the Cyber Group room. Great to see all of us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. Hey, for right now, folks, it's been kind of like a flat afternoon. Markets did drop off a little bit more. I think the SPY is testing towards the lows that we had back from Wednesday of this week, right? From Wednesday, or even a little bit lower from Thursday morning, even opened up a little bit lower, that is. So end up trying to pull back a little bit towards that area, and it's been flat since. So, we'll see which way the market breaks for us, taking us into the afternoon. I don't really have any specific direction or prediction in which this will move up or down towards. So, we'll see right now, still making lower highs, but hey, DUO, it's making a really good push right now. I'd called it out right before we started this meeting. It's a stock that we've had our eyes on since last week. On the way up from the beginning of last week, ended up dumping off shortly after, and really throughout the remainder of this week. So getting a small bounce here. You'd want to see it hold support, namely right around this 134 price. I mean, this is the VWAP right now across the whole day. Stock ended up having a big shake early in pre-market this morning, ended up pulling back though, ended up popping again after the open and made the same move, pulled back down. So, hopefully history doesn't repeat itself in that regard. But you want to see this really begin to hold a higher low and then begin to pop higher, probably around that 3 o'clock time frame, 3:15 perhaps. What we'll do is just put this on our watch list right out the gate to begin. Now, I'll tell you what, I got an office meeting actually coming up in about 10-15 minutes. I got to be a little quick, unfortunately, folks. We'll go from top to bottom. Any of the other stocks that we ended up talking about or doing well on briefly, we'll talk about. The PKBO. Try saying that 3 times fast. I have a tough time, at least. Ended up making a nice pop early on, but more of a thinly traded stock, more of a gamble trade, I feel like, if anything. It's been halted how many times today, it seems like? 3-4 times going up, and then a nasty one here on the way down. Normally when a stock gets halted on the way down, that's typically game over. So we don't entice this, because I just want to mention this because we have new trial members joining us here inside our live trading room each week. And you see some of these crazy moves and you might think to yourself, well, hey, why can't I jump in that? Let me see if I could do that. There's a right place and time, and not only that, but there's a right stock. So it's up a lot. It's up over 125% right now. And with that, it could be a nice stock to follow if the order book fills in more, level 3. So for right now, I'll pass. Same to be said, like we talked about on SNTG. We'll jump to that one in a moment. The SATX seemed to be said here, though. Ended up having a crazy pop up, I guess, like in the beginning of this week on Monday, or maybe even from Friday last week, but ended up completely dumping off. And I mean, today, a little low volume pump, but that's all there is to it. Huddy, pretty expensive. We'll jump over that. SNTG. So, looking at the chart here, higher lows, it's starting to rev up a little bit. And now, thankfully, the order book here is a lot more liquid. This is a lot more liquid now than it was from the morning. This was a disaster from the market open. Great trade from pre-market early on, but once it dumped off after the market opened up, you knew that this would be a really difficult trade at best. At best, meaning that, to see this dump off right away after the open like that, you should expect resistance to hold, and then we'll see where it goes. But oftentimes these stocks just flatten out more and then dump off lower, fill the gap. This didn't do exactly that. It ended up bouncing, but myself and Fausto really were focused on other stocks at that time. Like, we were intently saying inside our live trading room, like, hey, there's other stocks to follow. Look at the DraftKings dropping off. Look at a couple of other stocks making a move up. So, it was up big. Now it's like a little bit more liquid here than it was from the open, and that's a good thing. It's trying to squeeze up a tiny amount. I'll come back to this at the very tail end. I'm still really reluctant with putting this on any list right now, but I do like that this is filled in a little bit more from the morning session. All right, let's see what else we got here, folks. I know the gold market did pretty well today. GDXU ETF ended up making a nice squeeze this morning. I know a couple of other, stocks and gold mining plays out there moving up. Newmont, NEM. This is an equity at least stock. It's up over 7, near 8%, breaking a new high right now. So this could definitely be a good one to watch. Pan American Silver. This is a silver stock, not a gold miner, but one that I'll often look at when gold is moving at least. So clearly silver down big, gold up right now. I don't know the news on that. I'm not as informative on the commodity sector, at least. So pardon me there. But in terms of day trading a stock going into the close, I'm going to look to follow Newmont. That's actually a pretty good call here. It's up, big. It's pushing up really nicely. Obviously, checking level 3 here. It's very liquid. Don't mind if I do, actually. There we go. Grant. Hopefully, he's a happy man with gold up today. I'm sure we'll check out a couple of other gold stocks. I know Fausto was all over the AUY trade. AUY was one more from the market open. This had a really good pop to it at first. So it's not as strong compared to NEM right now, you could tell, right? Newmont's the one breaking the new high. This is trending up, but had a much sharper move from the morning session. I just think that this is too liquid right now. There's just too much, volume and orders on the book for it to try and break through. So it's making a pretty good trend here, but there's probably better gold plays. I mean, if you're going to follow the ETF, I mean, look at Nugget, NUGT. All right, we got a lot to go through on this gainer side, even with the market slumping off from earlier today. China market gapped up big early in pre-market, so a lot of these Chinese stocks are up also, like NEO and XPEV and actually, I think Lee had a bit of a hit in particular, but NEO had a really nice day today. I did prep up my chart, did all right on it off the 11 level. I missed out on it initially and then got in off it as it ended up breaking over 11. So led to a good squeeze from there. I got in timely, at least. It was chopping around 11 for a little bit, but then ended up holding that as support and then led to a nice move up just about 50 plus cents. So nice run for NEO, but again, this one, like I'd said on, I think it was like AUY I said it on, just really liquid. This is too liquid right now for my liking, too much volume on the book. All right, I mean, there's definitely a lot more that's up percentage-wise, folks. So if there's anything up big that you see, type it in the chat board. Billy, I don't think I went over Billy yet, at least in this meeting. We talked about it before the meeting started. I was posting about it saying that we missed out on a really good play on this trade. It was based off of I think last week's close and then also the open from today, roughly off that 1107, 1108. And I turned over to this just a little too late. It was pushing up off that level without me, and I was more reluctant to jump in from that point. Hopefully, there's a lot more left on this trade, though. So we're going to put Billy in particular on our list. This is one of the Chinese stocks that made the gap up early in pre-market. So, not all of these Chinese stocks are going to make as strong of a play right now, but in particular, this one does look pretty good. Check out another one while I'm at it, just before we jump over to the loser side. But IQ, it's a little too slow, a little too liquid here. So we'll pass on it right now. That's all right. All right, let's hop over to the loser side here. You got long down over 60%. Looks like right now it's trying to make a small little dead cat bounce, starting to rev up a little bit off the 450. It's pretty thin, though. It's got some thin volume on the book, so be careful. But I like the sharper trend off that 450 level. So it's definitely down enough percentage-wise to where you could anticipate potential continuation from this squeeze. That said, though, 5 as a whole number, $5, I mean, even like half of a decade number level like 10, that should be very strong as a psychological, resistance. So keep that in mind right here. FNKO, oh man, there's a lot that moved from earlier today that we did well on, even if it doesn't look as good now like FNKO. But, forgot about this one. It was down big like the long trade is now. And this one ended up making that proverbial dead cat bounce, that big bounce back up that you would hope to see. So, it ended up dropping off at first, bottomed out roughly around the 8 level, then ran up really well. There was a big ladder effect on Bookmap on level 4 with big iceberg orders on the bid pushing this up. It was a really nice play while it lasted, But right now though, I'm not going to hold this to making another big pump. All right, we'll keep it going. SRTS here, shortable. It's at the lows, but it's not trading any good volume for me, at least. Now, on the flip side of that, on the flip side of that exact comment, Carvana, geez, it's hard to borrow for me, but if it's easy to borrow for you, then definitely put it on your list. I'm going to put it on our watch list either way. It's just liquid, it's dropping off. What's the news on Carvana? This had a nice squeeze earlier this week, and I was saying that this had like some high short interest on it, so it's not as much of a surprise to see it down big, but holy hell, have this down 41%. I mean, what happens here? Something had to have come out. Carvana shares trading lower. That's right. That's right. You know what I mean? All right. So one of our students made a comment on this. This is why it pays to be a member inside our live trading room. Carvana ended up reporting earnings from yesterday afternoon. That's what led to the drop off. That's right. I forgot about that. I think that was Mark that may have made that heads up there. Carvana trading lower after the company reported worse than expected quarter three EPS and sales results. So with that, man, this thing got hit. Big 82,000 share iceberg on the bid right now at 828. So that's your next support level, at least on this play. Twilio, a little expensive, but also took a huge hit from earlier today. If it was trending down more at this point, I'd follow it. I don't mean that as if it was down more percentage wise, but just, if it was making lower highs and lower lows, I'd look to follow it. It's been pushing back up here. Granted, it's down enough percentage wise to where, if it's not going to break any lower at the end of this week, maybe the shorts cover, you see a big bounce. Kind of selling myself on putting Twilio on our list now at this point. The reason why I'd be more reluctant to trade it or at least put it on our list is because it's not the price, it's just more the liquidity on the book. It's very thinly traded. So you got to be more of a level 4 trader and up in order for you to really look to put more of a focus on this trade. If you're not a level 4 trader, that's all right. You could make your day's pay or more on plenty of other stocks that are already on our list. Duo, Billy, NEM. Those are three stocks that all have much better order books than this and are much cheaper, might I say. So Twilio, I'll put on our list, but if it fails to break any lower, perhaps we see some short covering off this 42 level. All right, what else we got? GTN at the lows. It's trading a little bit more volume here compared to one of the others I said wasn't. So at this point, we have about 6 stocks on our main list. If there's anything else that looks good, folks, I'll ask early. Type it in the chat board. Definitely let me know. DraftKings, obviously, we're going to jump to right here. I just feel like for the volume it's traded today, it could be like more exhausted at this point. But you know what? Doesn't hurt us to at least slip DraftKings on the back end. Marie says team, TEAM moving lower. That's on the loser side, down over 28%. It's pretty expensive, just to the point where it's not as worth it to day trade the stock. If you're going to follow it on the option side, that's different. But, it's just otherwise, this stock is just very illiquid as an equity. And that's all right. The more that you're a member inside our live trading room, right now as a trial member, we don't expect for everyone to, be a master of what we watch for out the gate. So, you'll learn a lot more about that over your week. For any of our trial members here, keep in mind every Tuesday, coming up next Tuesday, of course, included, we're going to be doing our live Traders Talk workshop. So that will give you a much greater, ability to learn what we do, why we do what we do, etc. All of those are recorded anyway, and they're posted on your student dashboard just when you log into our website. So I would definitely look to check those out even over the weekend. Cold natural gas ETF, it is shortable. It's dropping off quite a bit. I'd say, hey, if you did well on cold the last month and a half, you know exactly who you are inside our live trading room. I'm sure that you'll be personally more inclined to follow this at least. But, just to add on top of what I mentioned to trial members here, we don't often trade ETFs. So if it's running up, then I'd be more inclined. But for right now, if you did well on cold earlier this week or over the past month, then I'm sure that you'll potentially follow this year. Market making a small little retracement back up. We ended up having some resistance on the SPY back from yesterday at like basically 370, 350. I was writing that inside the live trading room earlier today. I was looking for that to become support. So the thing is, it ended up breaking below it pretty quickly, ended up acting as resistance. So let's see if this could over time get flipped into support going into the close here, right off roughly 370, 350. All right, folks, let me see if there's anything on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube. I do not see anything from that side. That is A-OK. Let's just check out Benzinga. Got a pop on the stock JZ, another pop on this trade for JZ. Ended up making a big pop from after the open. It's just got such a big spread, though, here, so it looks like it could pop higher. I'm not fully sold on it just yet. This could be a false breakup towards the VWAP and then a real shakedown. So, I'm sure that Rich will put more of a focus on it if he ends up seeing 182, 183-ish get flipped into support coming up. But otherwise, I'd focus on the other trades here at first. Let's also just jump back to that SNTG before we close out. It's trying to creep up a little bit. You know what? The order book... right as I was just saying that too, this damn thing. I was just about to say this was becoming more liquid of a stock. The second this thing shook down, the spread opened up to, 4 or 5 cents there for a moment. So that's where you still got to be pretty careful on this trade. But it's hard to fight that trend up for right now. So SNTG, I'll add on the back end of our list here. All right, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, enjoy the weekend. TGIF. Hey, check out our YouTube channel, at least over the weekend. We're going to be posting some content, a couple of other videos posted on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe right at youtube.com/cybertradingu. Otherwise, though, if you have any other questions, feel more than free to email me going into this weekend, josh@ctutrading.com. That goes, of course, to any of our trial members or students inside our live trading room. I'm going to post that right there for you folks as well. All right, but otherwise, I'll be back inside the chat board just in a bit later on today at 3:30. Rich will be on the mic coming up just for all of us here at 3 o'clock here. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.